and Tara LaFon Gooch. Again, 3 weeks in a row. It's our trifecta. We're trying every way we can to get better, bring more value, and really have people appreciate and understand how quality the LinkedIn opportunity is if you do it the right way with the right people over the right time. So today's subject, we focused on really identifying an achievable goal you can measure against. So Tara, I want to share your wonderful wisdom. It's always an honor to have Tara. What's your thoughts?
Wow, achievable goals are everything. And earlier this week, I actually did a LinkedIn Live with a mindset coach.
Oh,
And
really?
we talked about a very similar approach to goal setting because I think as human beings, we have these really big goals, and that's great. It's good to have huge goals. Why not? Have
Mm-hmm.
goals that scare you. But learning how to achieve them and break them off in bite-sized pieces so that you're not discouraged and so that you don't feel like you're not achieving something. I think our brains are very hardwired for that. To we love achievement. We love when we find a goal that we have conquered and we've set and we've game set match, right? But
Mm-hmm.
those big goals are great too. They just can be a little intimidating sometimes, or we start the process of getting to our goal and then get discouraged because it seems so far away. Whereas if you break those goals into small bite-sized pieces, it's actually a lot more achievable. And then before you know it, you've built the road basically to that goal to success.
Yeah, you hit it right on the nose. Is that people spend so much time in search of a goal that one day they may achieve. And
Yeah.
on the way there, they feel like a loser every day until they win. Now, if you can break down the digestible goals that you just mentioned and get a win every time you achieve it, now your journey is a multiple collection of wins put together that gets you a final huge victory, right? So now you're enjoying the ride. There's a psychology to success and there's an attitude to success. And winners tend to want to play more and win bigger. And people who don't get results tend to get back on themselves and tend to question things that they were so confident about. So it's really about
Mhm.
understanding. And LinkedIn looks so simple, and it is on the superficial side. But when you really get deep, there's a lot of nuance to it. And what I advocate is people allocate enough time into the future that they don't have to judge early. And the other element is get with people who can cut your learning curve, who can bring your knowledge base up and your confidence, because the other half of knowledge is support, right? And without support, that knowledge again comes back to your interpretation. You get tunnel vision, you get blinders on. So really, you know, and do something that's comfortable, not something that's to the moon and you can't do. So whatever you can do, they say what's easy to do is easy not to do. So Tara, why don't you follow up on that? And how does this apply to what you do on LinkedIn?
Well, it started off, nobody started off with 20, 100,000 connections, right? So no matter how large your profile is on LinkedIn, we all started at ground zero at some point in time. So that should give pause to everyone to realize that it is possible for them. But the thing about LinkedIn, it's again bite-sized pieces. Every day, I treat networking like it's a job. I really
Mhm.
do. I make sure that every single week I maximize connections that are thoughtful, right? That are in my network, in my niche, right?
Mhm.
Decision makers. Every day, because I do this every day and make it it's a habit, Don. But every day I feel like I'm succeeding a little bit more because maybe I've bridged a connection with somebody that I hadn't before that could be a real decision maker and turn my career, my trajectory, my life around. And I think that's really important to understand. I mean, LinkedIn, you're one connection away from a completely different life. Make no mistake about it. This is the most powerful platform to change your life. And it's simple things just like this, connecting with others, appearing on multiple different platforms, the connections that I've gained because of working with you, and vice versa. It's been phenomenal. And I encourage anybody to do this, especially, if you're struggling, watch what we're doing, right? That we're working with each other, we're bridging communication gaps. But we take it seriously because we understand how much value there is to this. And don't you agree, Don? There's a lot of value to be had.
Yeah. Just having you on the show and having you share your insights and more importantly your vision inspires me and reinforces what I believe to be just what you said. And here's what's so important that I'm learning is there's a balance to quantity and there's a balance to relevance. And quality and relevance are about the same. Now, with that said, when you continue to build numbers and you really don't go into them and leverage them, and what I see now, and it's coming faster, it's like when you put a jigsaw puzzle together, the outside takes forever and then the
Yeah.
inside fits itself in.
Yep.
LinkedIn's the same kind of puzzle in that the people I have continue to change. I continue to change and LinkedIn continues to change. And some people change and they get deeper in and some people get further away. It's an ebb and a flow. Now, the value you bring is the value you acquire for yourself, right? Because
Yes.
I can go back to anybody with something better now than I ever had, and something that's more aligned with what I know they need. And the initial connections, conversations, and relationships were foundational. You're not going to meet somebody today, I haven't, and connect today and do business tonight, right? There's a process between this and that, and it's really based on timing, positioning, trust, likability. You need to earn that. What you've done when you made a connection is you got an address. Now you got to figure a way to get in the door and make a quality presentation. And what I see, first of all, LinkedIn Live to me is the best thing going. And that's why I'm focused on that. That's why we're on. And that's why what I've also found, the people who view LinkedIn Live and support it are much higher thought leaders. They want to express themselves where it's real time, real people, and getting to achievable goals, because it's so easy to get off. And I need to discipline myself. Is really look at your time. Just look at currency and time. And you say to yourself, just like if you said, hey, I'm going to go shopping. It's going to take me 20 minutes to get there, an hour to be there, 20 minutes back. I've got to allocate 2 hours, right? And in 2 hours, I need to get home safely with everything I went to shop for and hopefully have a positive experience. Now, why not go shopping on LinkedIn, right? For what you're looking for in business, in people, and say, I'm going to dedicate 2 hours to whatever it is, or 1 hour, or all day, whatever it is. Doesn't matter. You got to start somewhere, start where you're at. So what do? You decide, what am I going to do? See, LinkedIn's like a playground. You can get lost on all the rides and have a great time and then come back and say, what did I gain? So the point is, if you're going to put an hour in, what do you need to get back at the end of the day to feel like a winner and want to put that hour back in tomorrow? I mean, if you could find a slot machine that kept paying you all day long, you'd never leave, right? If you can make LinkedIn an ATM for you, right, where you can dial in the right combination, and that's what it is, and come out with a benefit, and then help other people with it, and now leverage it and do it on a platform. It's incredible. So that's, I think, one of the reasons me and Tara have come together is we're proving the value of collaboration. of knowledge share, of brainstorming, and saying that, hey, this is 10 lifetimes of an opportunity. The only way you can take advantage of it is to join arms with people who have talents and abilities that are better than you and make you a winner. So, Tara?
Absolutely. I love that. I love that. Well, and you hit on a lot of different points there, but I think, the key takeaway is make sure every day you are on LinkedIn, you're being present, but you're setting yourself up for success in some kind of way, right? And success can mean being present. It can mean leaving more thoughtful comments. It can mean sending out more thoughtful messages. It could mean sharing your story. It could mean zoning into your, what's that called? A zone of genius, right? Getting into your zone of genius. So your zone of genius, I'm sure you're a zone of genius in many areas, Don, but LinkedIn Live, this is your zone. This is your baby, right? Finding different ways, and one way may not work for everybody, and that's okay. But it starts with putting yourself out there, and that's when you start winning. You win when you start sharing your story, start showcasing yourself to new audiences, because no one knows you exist unless you tell them, unless you put yourself out there. And what is the statistic that when you share a post, only it's distributed to 5% or so of your audience? Well, find ways to grab more of that attention. And one of the ways is just, again, sharing your story, putting yourself out there with different types of media approaches, such as video, family photos, pictures of your dog, pictures of you working on a hobby. Guess what? Someone else will see that and say, wow, that's an interesting person. I wonder if I should connect with them. And they're going to. And that's the part of the power of, sharing your story, sharing your hobby, sharing interests, sharing things that you're good at, that you consider yourself a subject matter expert on. That's when I feel like those, achievable goals start really coming in for you, because you're showcasing who you are, and it attracts the right people to you.
Yeah, authenticity is key.
Yeah.
Being real, being somebody people can relate to, being, working with people where they're at, and they're not where you hope they could be.
Yeah.
And here's what I'm starting to learn over the 3 years of what I've been doing every day. And I have been totally immersed in it. And it's been, an academic exercise so that I wouldn't have to concern myself with the financial benefit. So really focusing on learning, being the best I can, and then going to the marketplace. But I think what I'm learning now is identifying the group that you can either find within your group or find outside of your group on LinkedIn, and find ways to share them with everybody. Because once you can share them, all of a sudden, it's weird on LinkedIn. Everything is backwards, because in the real world or the physical world, it's buy, ask, take, you're acquiring. On LinkedIn, you need to build trust, value. There's 810 million of us.
Yep.
No one can figure to break free. But if you say, here's 10 people I want to work for or work with, and typically the relationship would be you would engage, and then you'd show yourself and vice versa, and you'd see if it was justified. Well, it's almost like asking a stove to give me fire and I'll give you wood. If you already proved the value of what you could bring before you get into that, and you see what their response is, because that qualifies them back to you. If you said, hey, this is a great person, I love the work they do, I'd like to somehow be involved with them, then take that same thought process and share it. It's, again, it's authentic. I just saw, it's like people say, I saw a movie, you got to check it out. They don't even know they're referring people. So if you can find those people, find ways to support them. I know people who are looking for people to do certain things, right? Everybody's looking for speakers. Everybody's looking for guests on LinkedIn live shows.
Yep.
Well, if you can say, hey, I've got a great opportunity for you. would it be okay if I introduce you? That's a lot better than saying, hey, here's who I am. Let's get together. Let's talk. Let's do something.
Yeah.
This is just a gift,
Yeah.
And I think that's the idea, is get into somebody else's head like it's yours. Think of what you would love to have happen to you and make it happen for somebody else if you can make it happen. Because then you get into the practice, and the gratitude and appreciation doesn't stop, because people will do it because they want it to keep going. It doesn't matter about you in the beginning, and it doesn't really matter about you at the end, because one thing about LinkedIn, it's totally reciprocal. Once people stop taking a step, the other person stops taking a step with them and starts taking a new step with someone else. So it's kind of like a square dance, and people are rotating partners. The best way to do it is through collaboration, through talking, through support. And that's what I'm heavily into, because there's so many people. You need to give them opportunities to come in the way they want to, and to be able to be themselves and then change. And sometimes you're better off not knowing anything, because you don't have a lot to unlearn. So Tara, why don't you pick up on that?
I love that. Well, and that's part of the power of, just putting yourself out there, sharing your story, sharing hobbies, interests, adding value, is that you're building your tribe. So many people say, oh gosh, I just hate social media because it seems so impersonal. I can't tell you how many amazing relationships that I have formed on this platform, business partnerships, you name it. Equity stake in companies, huge opportunities that just because I put myself out there and showed the world a little bit of who I was. But you exactly hit the nail right on the head when you said you have to give first, add value to your audience, and build relationships. It starts there. You have to give without expectation of anything in return, and then give some more, add value, reciprocate, rinse and repeat. That is really the secret formula of success on LinkedIn. It's not a secret, but you have to add value. You have to show people something interesting. You have to help others. You have to reach out. You have to showcase some skill set, talent, ability, interest, whatever, that adds value to other people. Engage with them. If somebody that you find interesting or want to work with or do business with has a post on LinkedIn, you better like and comment on that post and leave a thoughtful comment. It can take 10, 20 touches sometimes for that conversation to become something more. Hang in there, right? Because anything worth having takes time. But it's important to add that value and that reciprocity, right? And that gratitude, and continually be grateful to people who comment on your posts. Make sure you acknowledge them as well, and then acknowledge other people's posts, build up that community. And it's just, again, rinse and repeat. That's what really causes success on this platform long term.
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right, or I believe you're absolutely right. And it's really about, I think, taking it to another step. And that's why collaborating and consulting makes so much sense, because you can buy some vowels before you solve the puzzle. And primarily, it's really about people understanding the value someone else is looking for.
Yeah.
Right? You can bring value, but is it aligned? And is it at a level that the person you're working with would look at it as a premium, or optimizing what they're doing, versus just, here's a gift and now I want a favor, And after a while, you should be in control of who you work with. There's enough people out there that if you choose who you work with, you'll never be wrong.
Yep.
And if you have enough of them, you'll have more patience for all of them, because you're not waiting on anybody. If you continue to build the hopper, at a certain point, it will just naturally come through. And now it's more organic than forced. But again, these are very high level strategies And that's why you just can't say, I got it and run with it, because it doesn't work that way. And maybe me and Tara could save you a lot of time and trouble that we went through. And it's still a great experience until you feel the pain of victory or survival. And I think that's what's so important. So I hope today's show was beneficial. I know we can go for forever, but I know then we're not working with time efficiency and what our goal in the meeting. So what we will do is invite you to reach out to us, direct message us. There's topics you'd like us to discuss and go over. Feel free. We're here as an open door to encourage and inspire as many people to LinkedIn success as we can. And we find a LinkedIn Live platform allows us to talk to a lot of people at one time and give everybody a little bit of a taste of what we're about, so that if you really want to whet your appetite, we can have a call and talk. Tara, why don't you close it all up for us?
Yes. Start off with small, manageable goals that you can take in bite-sized pieces. Feel like you're accomplishing something every single day. And one of the best pieces of advice is just improve 1% every day. Push that ball forward every day, even if it's just a little tiny bit. Don't let those big goals intimidate you, right? Keep the big goals, of course, but break it up into small, manageable bites so that you feel like you're accomplishing something all the time. And it really can start with just something as simple as trying video for the first time, being brave enough to put yourself out there, being brave enough to post a picture, or brave enough even just to comment. So many people really shy away. It's 1% of people that post on LinkedIn. How many people comment? I don't know. I don't know that metrics, but it's maybe 5%, maybe 10. It's not a lot, folks. So just stepping out of your comfort zone a little bit every day, trying something new, sharing your story, telling people what your values are, what you're all about, that's what's going to set you up for success. And do it in incremental bites that feels manageable and accomplishable for you.
Can't say anything more to that. That was the finale. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Do us and yourself a favor. Share this with others who might benefit from it. And we're always available for questions and any thoughts that you may have. Thanks again, and we'll be talking again. Bye for now.